All right. Cool, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Primal Sutra. Okay, today we're talking about a very, very important topic, which is a dynamic life versus a static life. Okay, so we're going to start to primarily understand what that means and what you're here to gather from this information. Okay, let me just check if this is being shown. No, it's not. It is. Okay. Okay. So let's get started today. So first things first, we've got to understand what is the concept of the threefold map. Okay. This is something that was introduced to me through Jason. Jason is also known as Plasma Born 369. You might know him on Instagram posting hilarious memes on spirituality as well as I truly believe he's a time traveler, man. He's come from the past to help us with this information that he had to go through hell to receive. So, first of all, kudos to you, brother. Let's get started. I might post a little bit of that interview later on, and someone booked for another session just now, so that's another sign. Okay, busy day today. So let's get started. So, mhm, oh, no, hold on one second. Share. Okay, let's look at this, guys. So, can you guys see the screen, by the way? Hope so. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, affection, conscience, reason, memory, imagination. Hmm. Now, these are all, of course, different models, but I think this is interesting. It's good to look at different maps so we have a different idea. So in the middle, we're seeing these are looked at as gates, right? The eye is a gate, the nose is a gate, the ear is a gate, the mouth is a gate, the feeling is a gate. So all the five senses are gates. And we look at spirit or pneuma, creating this spirit, creating this essence, this faculty, the sense faculty of faith, hope, reverence, prayer, worship, compassion, and so forth, right? In the center, the soul and the psyche, and then the natural surrounding it, whereas you have these pockets of imagination, memory, and so forth. Now, what's really interesting here is not so much this diagram, which is really cool by its nature, which just shows like we have this, right? Does it say carnal? Yeah, it's like carnal and natural. Um, so again, this map is a good place to start, but let's get right into the conversation of this because this is fascinating stuff, okay? So number one, our minds are not confined to the insides of our brains, okay? As I say that, you guys know that I'm probably tapping into some one or something's energy. This month is all about Agnios's energy. He's the god of binding. So, and I took some peppermint tea right before this, so you can hear it in my voice that there's a difference about this lecture. And our minds, the way that we've traditionally understood it from the Newtonian model, is that the mind is the activity of the brain, right? And it's inside of the head, but it doesn't account for consciousness itself. This is why it's referred to as a hard problem in quantum physics and so forth. And light rays being refracted through the rods and cones of the eyes to see something, and then the images are reflected out. I mean, isn't that like a long process to really describe what is happening right now, right? And we can break it down, cluster it down even further, probably, the photons and so forth. However, it's just vision projecting at images, right? And if we understand our mind is a system of fields, like the phone has a magnet of its own, okay? And I'm not streaming on my phone today because it's on charge, okay? I didn't want to like stop the live stream midway. However, it's really, really important that we understand that, just like the phone's magnet or beyond this orbit, keeping the moon orbit, there is some kind of an electromagnetic sequence or signature happening. So through your look, through your eyes, you can change somebody else, man. Through looking at them, through perceiving them, and how you perceive them changes the reality. What is your perception of them? This is why so many cultures, around the world, they believe in something called evil eye. Okay. And what evil eye really is, if you really start to look at it, break it down, evil eye is this understanding that somebody has a bad intention. Okay. Someone has a bad agenda or a bad intention, or they're perceiving you, or getting jealous of you, getting angry or wrathful, right? These delusions. So they're really putting on a pair of eyes, contact lenses that aren't supportive to them. It's kind of exaggerating or amplifying certain negative aspects of people, right? You could see someone, judge them, be like, that person is a loser, that person is weak. Now, that thought of yours will actually make them weak. You guys get that? Especially through your eyes, if you look at them like that. They'll feel it. Why? Because what are they picking up? They're picking up the intention from you. If you have a bad intention towards someone, they're going to feel it on the other end, right? And this is why we've got to understand this is really a basis, this morphic resonance stuff from Sheldrake is a basis for telepathy, psychic powers, and all these other things that, people love to talk about. What was interesting is Bashar brought up the fact that psychics aren't even tapping into the future, they're tapping into the present so much that the future is revealed. Like what a prophet does is they see into the present, they don't see really into the future. Because the future is always dynamic, the future is always changing, right? So when we live a more dynamic life, we're futuristic. We're living in a futuristic standpoint. Okay. We've got to understand that in culture, a lot of things are made to remain static, sedentary, stuck. These are words that are man-made, right? Nothing in the universe is stuck. It's constantly vibrating, like atoms are vibrating all the time. And yet we choose to remain stuck. I'm stuck in this situation. I'm stuck in this job. I'm stuck in this relationship. You're not really stuck. It's that you haven't taken the choices or the actions to change the morphic resonance field. Okay. So through this, we understand that through the look, you can affect somebody else, correct? Through the intention. But we also understand there is, this is like a signal detection, reticular activating system type thing, right? But then you have like an intention of you're thinking about someone, you're thinking about someone, you're thinking about someone. And then suddenly what happens? They call you, okay? They call you, they reach out to you, and yeah, they suddenly give you that panache or that understanding of like, hey, I've been thinking about this person and you just called, right? I've been thinking about you and you just called. And that's maybe a coincidence. It could be a mere chance encounter, right? But is it really? Because I remember I was thinking about one of my clients and she called like it wasn't even like I think it was like the middle of the night or something, right? When she called. Usually I don't take calls uh, before I sleep. I'm completely locked down. For some reason that day, my phone was not on silent. It was on, and I got a call. But I was thinking of her through her situations and like what she was going through. So it was in my mind, right? And as I was going through that, she called in that moment, which made me understand that, of course, I'm connected to her morphic resonance field because I'm coaching her, I'm counseling her, right? And taking her through my protocol and so forth. So, of course, she's going to think about me, I'm going to think about her, right? And similar to you guys, like you probably have seen me in a dream somewhere, or me showing up in a meditation, or hey, Primal Sutra is doing this big thing in the world. Whatever, you guys are getting these glimpses. A lot of the shamans that we're working with, right? We're getting these random glimpses. It's showing us what's really available to us, right? Now, I think what is so interesting there is that you've got to understand this extended mind theory. This is going against that materialist dogma of just like, you know, our memory basically doesn't leave imprints, whereas it does. Okay. Consciousness goes outside your head. You pick up someone else's attention or intention, feeling. These are the threefold, right? Attention. So let's write it out. Let's do a whiteboard. Okay? Dynamic versus static. So this is the topic of the video today. Now, this is a topic that I first got introduced to. One of my old mentors, Vince Kelvin, top seduction coach on planet Earth, has a huge mohawk, okay? Including him and Arash and a bunch of others who have really inspired my way of thinking, or at least my perception of this thing. But a lot of NLP coaches also talk about this idea of static versus dynamic, right? A lot of people say, what? I lost my confidence, right? What is this? This is a static statement. What do you mean you lost your confidence? It's not like you can lose it, like you lost a wallet. You can always gain it back, right? What do you mean you lost it? It's just maybe down, or it's rusty, or it's not refined, or you know what I mean? You're just not present. You're just not alive. You don't have Vajra, right? So this statement just makes no sense to me. It's just like, hey, I lost my keys the other day. You know, it's not like losing your keys. You can't lose your confidence like you lose your keys, right? And so this is a static statement. Whereas if you made it more dynamic, right? And I feel that this is the issue. A lot of counselors, therapists, and so forth. What they do is they just reframe, right? Now, the issue with reframing is we ignore the neutral, okay? This is the issue with the reframe is we're ignoring the neutral, we're just flipping it to its opposite. Now, there's another step that happens after you reframe it. You got to make it real to you. So instead of saying I lost my confidence, you say every day I am finding opportunities to express my confidence. Okay. Now, this statement that I just said, guess what? This is a lot more dynamic than static, correct? Because every day now you're going to look for opportunities to express your confidence. Okay. And that's amazing because now you're actually evolving through that thought form, right? You are now, if you hold that like in your head like a mantra and zone out every other thought every day, I'm finding opportunities to express my, let's just say joy because we're at Jubilant June, baby. Okay. By the way, I just want to go and check if this is streaming properly. Let me see if the live chat is also working. Okay. All right. One viewer. Okay, cool. Let me know if I'm being heard in the chat, please, or whoever it is. Okay. All right. Let's check here. Why can't I see the chat? Show chat. Okay, I have the chat out now, so I can see it. Cool. So you see here, guys, right? If you're just going from negative to positive, let's just say the negative thought is like, I am weird, right? Hey, yo, yo. Cadence and voice also. Hey, that's right, man. Ogmio's time. You know what I mean? I was gonna do a ritual for him yesterday, but now I'm gonna start to do it. I think he's gonna be channeled on Monday, bro. That's my understanding. So I'm gonna keep it where it is and then do the ritual right after that. I think that's way more aligned than right now. So let's say the thought is like, I am weird, okay? Now, if you just flip it from negative to positive, you're just saying I'm not weird, right? Or like I'm normal, or I fit in, or whatever, right? Which might not be accurate as a statement. You might say that to yourself to reprogram, right? Trying to reprogram things, not make it feel natural to us, right? And this is the culture that we're trying to change through our 5D language, through really stepping into this new earth paradigm. We're changing this. So instead of saying this, right, how do we make this statement more dynamic, more animated, right, more musical? So we could say something like, instead of I'm weird, we could say, hey, weirdness is a choice and a perspective and an opinion. Right? It's very neutral. It sounds good, right? It sounds good to me. Weirdness is a choice and an opinion, right? And that's the way that my character has come up with this infrastructure for this word, right? It's come up with this response. However, for somebody else, you might come up with a different reframe. But this is, again, it's not a reframe. It's a, let's just call it a noun frame, right? Hey, that's dope, right? He just downloads. So when you bring it from a reframe to a now frame, now that you have this, you can now make it as positive as you want, right? You can amplify it because you started from a foundation, you started from Christ-like, Buddha nature. You did not go for the flipped version and try to reprogram, stuff it into my subconscious. Let's just pummel it and make sure that it fits. Okay, right? So this is the understanding, right? Okay, it's a very, very powerful understanding where we make our journey a lot more dynamic because we understand the dynamism with which we move, and the universe is in this spondo or this dynamism, this Shiva Shakti making love already, and we just tap into that, love FM. We just tap into that frequency, and as we're tapping into that frequency, we're creating these incredible states of mind that sometimes is being controlled by the extended mind or the higher, sometimes the higher mind or even the hive mind, people call it. Okay, so we got to be careful of our three things: tension, intention, and feeling. Okay. Intention is sometimes called a will. So, okay. This is the process we got from through Jason's tech. Now let's put it into an understanding, right? You're putting your attention on something and you're like, man, this person is just not communicating with me properly. I feel annoyed at them, right? And I'm holding and harboring that resentment in my heart, right? And I'm putting attention on it. What do you think will happen? I will put myself into a situation where I have to confront them in the future, or they will call me, or there will be something happening where they will maybe be talking behind my back, or I'll be talking behind their back, right? The attention is now morphing around our experience. You guys get that? But now, what if I choose to forgive? Now, just set them free. It's like Dobby the house elf, right? You mean the Dobby is free now, master? Right? It's just running free, roaming free. So when you forgive, hey, take the power back. You take your authenticity back, right? So through your attention, you can kind of tell how this morphs. Now, with your intention or your will, some people like to force this, right? I'm going to force my will or intention onto you. It's not about that, right? You have to understand that this dynamic of attention, intention, and feeling has got to be in a flow, not a force. Okay? Flow with it. Don't try to push it. Okay? You can push it in the beginning to get the ball rolling. Okay? That's what force is used for. It's like, you guys know the book Power versus Force, right? So Let me just pull up a diagram to be easier to describe this. Okay. Okay, let me just close this guy so you guys get this understanding right now with the dynamic and static, right? So, share screen. All right. Can you guys see this? Just let me know if you can see it or not. Okay. Okay, let's see what Mathis is saying. In the Bible, the full verse of the New International Version reads, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. That's also a really thing. Yeah. I pray. Let me just read that again. Hold on. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Yeah. Yeah. An intelligent designer, such a artistic creation that has been made. Hmm. Yeah, so let's look. Courage seems to be like the midpoint, right? The neutrality. And if I can pull up, there was a quote on courage that I wrote a while back. Um, what did I say? Courage was the love. Didn't I say something around like courage is love in action or something like this? I remember I had a quote on courage, right? Because you need to encourage this energy to emerge. So we have neutrality right here, but below neutrality, we have courage. But I feel the courage in the heart is what changes and transmutes the force into power, into the high road, okay, the upward spiral trend. So then we go, okay, I can will this into existence. I accept what's happening right now. I'm going into my logic and reasoning to really understand what's going on. And now I have the love on top of that. And I'm starting to tap into the jubilance, right? The joy, peace, and the enlightenment, and so forth. So it really starts with courage. Now, what if you're down here, right? What if you're apathetic, feeling really apathetic one day? You got to look at the one above, right? You got to let go, grief. Okay. Grief is all about letting go, allowing yourself to process through that grief or that sense of loss, right? So, I mean, this is ultimately really, really key and powerful. It's the gateway to higher frequency, I guess. Yeah. It's the gateway, right? So courage is like the gateway, and also there's a reason why it's a Stoic principle. Let's look up Stoic principle of uh, courage. Okay, 5 Stoic keys to being courageous. Let's see. Oh, this is an Instagram thing. Okay, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. True. Don't try to picture everything bad that could possibly happen. Stick with the situation at hand. Be okay with looking foolish or stupid. Epictetus. Adversity reveals look at difficulty as a sparring partner. Ryan G would love this one. A chance to prove yourself. Hey, view your adversity as your ops, bro. Right? That's great. Consider what else you've been through, where you've had the strength to endure. Quit worrying about what other people will think or say. Remind yourself that without difficulty, no one can ever know what you're capable of, not even you. Mm, all right. So you're realizing what you're capable of. That's being courageous. You're expanding your capacity. Okay. Stoic principle of courage, baby. Mental and moral fortitude, the capacity to face physical threats, ethical challenges, personal fears, and societal pressures. It's manifested in endurance, confidence, great-heartedness. That's a great word. Stout-heartedness, perseverance, magnanimity, magnanimity, magnanimous, right? Someone who's magnanimous is very open-hearted or they're very giving, right? Is that what it means? Let's just look it up. Magnanimity. I like that. The fact or condition of being magnanimous, you're generous, being charitable, loftiness of spirit, enabling one to bear trouble calmly. Ooh, to disdain meanness and pettiness and to display a noble generosity. I give irregardless. Okay. You might be yelling at me, you might be, throwing things at me like tomatoes. Hey, I'm gonna still give my essence. I'm gonna be the songbird who remains singing. So I understand. I can bear any trouble with it, with my calm waters, because my loftiness of spirit is unattached to this argument, to this experience, through this static reality that you're generating through your language. I don't want to focus on that static. I want to be dynamic in my process. Hey, you guys are seeing this, right? This is so powerful, man. And once we really get this code, we embody that courage, and then we see this through, the chakra points, so forth. So this is very, very true. And this is a process of the spiral that I've at least discovered is, hey, these states of consciousness and emotions are related to our chakra points. So, hey, in the solar plexus, we got the courage, right? That's our identity, though. This is why we need identity level change in order to transform ourselves from that lower state of mind to that flow state of mind. Okay. So, very, very powerful. I don't know what this one is saying. Okay, this is someone else's interpretation of like this Chinese man. I like that. Okay. It says happy, productive, cooperative, conscious, creative, at ease. Okay. There's a type of man who has a refined aggression, but is also incredibly enjoying his existence, right? Just enjoying life, enjoying the understanding of being alive, or just exploring, going to different places, or seeing different things in novelty, right? But then we see this below in force, we see determination, hustle, competition, control, self-reliance, right? All these things. However, we will notice that is actually coming through what? Desire, anger, pride, fear, so forth. Feeling defeated, feeling hopeless. What if we rose in our power? We powered up. Now we have influence. We're also compassionate. We trust. We're fearless. We're in synchronicity and in service, or as we like to call it, right, Mathis, in providence. Okay, providing value to others. Okay, so very powerful, man. I think one individual who lives and vibrates the energy of pure love and reverence for all of life will counterbalance the negativity of 750,000 individuals who calibrate at the lower weakening levels. So who said one person cannot change the world? Wait, they can. They can induce and counterbalance the negativity of 750,000 individuals, according to Wayne Dyer. Okay? Into this quote. Hey, stop. Power appeals to what uplifts, dignifies, and enables. Force must be justified. It creates counterforce. Hey, you get this? Force must always be justified. You don't justify power. It just is. It's dignified. It's noble. It enables, it allows, it gives you permission to move. It's a feeling of liberation, right? Freedom, detachment from the outcome, powerful, powerful, right? Influential. But then force has got to be justified. It is always moving against something, right? So it's creating friction and resistance and requires constant energy. So you actually feel drained in these lower levels because you need more energy to amp up that protocol, right? You need more life force energy to fulfill that hustle paradigm that you're living in right now. You get that? Ah, that's why courage is higher than pride, detached or attached. Yeah, yeah. Because when you got to get into courage if you want to get out of pride, right? So that's a powerful understanding, right? So if you have pride right here, you're still in hustle mode. But then you have courage. Now you're actually determined, right? You're not in the competitive nature of like I'm better than or whatever, right? You're just like now you're moving into it, right? You're more dynamic. Yeah. I think power is dynamic and force can get very static, right? Because hey, I don't want to feel like I'm in despair and hopeless. That's what a lot of the planet feels like, you know. And it's interesting to notice how the Gen Zs are so depressed nowadays, man. So down, you know. That's probably the reason why they're trying to find all these weird entertainment things. Have you guys even seen like Connor Murphy's videos nowadays? Like he's with this Thai girl and he's like cutting up his rib or whatever and like, licking milk off the floor and stuff like this. I'm just like, bro, what is happening to some of these celebrities, right? Now, as a joke, I wrote Illuminati humiliation ritual question mark, and a lot of people noticed that. Someone said, "Bro is onto something," and then someone else said, "Well, why would the Illuminati even be looking for a low-level influencer like Connor Murphy?" Hey, you never know, man. Okay, but yeah. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. I think Plato really mentioned it interesting how we have this material realm, but also transcendent realm of forms, which I think explains that dynamic nature as well. Okay, so let's wrap up. Okay, it's almost coming down to two. So let's go into this. Oh yeah, force equals mass times acceleration. Right? Interesting. A, what gives people feeling of power? Money, status, or realizing they can transcend the mind and live in the pure peace of their true nature? A, tapped in. Okay. Living water. Let's go. Let's go. Upward spiral gang. Hey guys, I hope this video woke you up today. Okay. Gave you a little bit of insight into this. Let's tap into our courage. Let's tap into that neutrality. If you want to get this book, it'd be a great one to dive into. There's a lot of secret codes in this one. I'll be diving into it. And yeah, man, become happier, make the world better. Hey, develop cooperative energy, reduce resilience and aggression, coercion, elevate levels of consciousness, increase receptiveness to truth. Ooh. Woo! Become happier by making the world better, baby. Let's go. We live in a better world already. We are the Upward Spiral Gang. Shout out to all the adepts, including Mathis right there in the live chat. Let's get it. May we never be the same again. Puss. All right. Peace out, guys. I'll see you guys soon. And